Hello everybody and welcome back to the labs. I am Towsty and this is InfiniSauce, episode 23. Welcome back to the base. Aw yeah, look at this sunrise, moonset, nope, sunset, moonrise. That's right, look at it. Somebody's gotta do something with that. Somebody call Minecraft and fix that. That's ridiculous. Anyways. We're hanging out here at my base doing a couple of little cleanup projects, and I decided to bring you guys in for a small update. I've been doing a lot of work, just working on making sure I'm still getting a lot of good resources and getting a lot of things that I need automatically without having to worry so much about bringing them or like keeping the quarry running. So the quarry I'm really just needing for metals and things, obviously, to mine. I may have mentioned last time we started to work on this nexus, on this dimensional anchor, these enhanced portals to make a small nexus, and I have done that. So I have my nexus here. I've got a dialing device because we have several portals in the server, and I want to be able to access them all, but I haven't put them all in yet. I don't even remember what they are anymore, to be honest. But if you go through here, you end up in actually a compact machine, which I showed you a little bit last time, I believe. Which is you need a personal shrinking device, and you right-click a compact machine, and you end up inside of it. So this goes to the end for now, which was a project we did on a different playthrough, and this goes to the base for the multiplayer for the Broken Labs playthrough, which isn't quite out yet, I don't think. At least at the time of recording this, it's not. So here's the thing. I'm really happy with that build. All that actual Nexus room is gonna undergo some changes. That's a temporary setup in there, but it's actually inside of this. I think if I right-click on this, new. It's inside one of these. Maybe the Nexus is the bottom one. So this is where I decided to build it. I don't know. Yeah, here we go. So I don't know if I actually showed this off last time. So I got a chunk loader up here. Each of these rooms, these compact machine rooms, is actually only one chunk as far as the big rooms go. I don't think they're, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, only 9 by 9, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, so they're 11 by 11. And a chunk is 16 by 16. So I'm going to guess that the size up from this is actually 16 by 16. But we don't have the stuff we need to make that just yet. So these are our new compact machines, and what we've been doing with them is pretty cool. I think I do want to make one eventually where I actually interact with it and the sides like I'm supposed to. One of the things I needed to do to continue my compact machine builds is automate tesseracts. So I've done that. So I've put some patterns in here. This is exporting ender pearls always, and just keeping this full of resonant ender. So all I have to do is add like a bucket to make a resonant ender bucket, and a tesseract, for example, and this does the same thing for redstone. So I've got some frames in here that use redstone. That way I can call up tesseracts, and I can actually call up the private ones. So for those of you who don't know, in order to make a tesseract private now so that the whole world can't access it, you actually need a secondary crafting step. So for this tab, the security tab, to exist, you need to use what's called signalum, which is a new metal from thermal expansion, and make it private. So that's how this works. So this is 1832, this is 1832 as well. The only way you can tell the difference is if you shift and you have Wayla, or maybe this is default, I don't really know, but if you shift, it says frequency at the top, and if you shift here, it'll actually say, what does it say? Access instead of frequency. So that's how you know which one you're crafting. So I've been using mostly tesseracts because I have a lot of that stuff. So let me show you a couple of things that I've done. Well, we were working on building these big solar panels before, and I've kind of done that now. I've got quite a few, actually. I've come on every day or so, and I tell it to craft up another 1 or 2. And I'm going to make this process a lot better because I want a lot more of these. For the time being, I've actually scaled down the speed of our quarry. So we no longer have crazy fast quarry. And we'll go take a look at that in a minute. Because I don't know that I've even ever actually showed that off. Because the crazy fast quarry was chewing up all of our power. Even with all these, it would actually chew up all of our power. We need way more than this to sustain it. It takes an immense amount of power. So Anyway, so these are outgoing, but what I figured out is there's quite a big bottleneck. Each one of these produces 4,000 RF per tick during the day, and it holds 60 million in its internal capacitor, which is awesome, because if you can fill up your personal storage of it, the capacitor might even get you through the night in some ways, you know, if you're not using that much. It's interesting. But these cables only can transfer 20,000 RF per tick. So 4 of these will max it out fairly quick, or 5 of these, sorry, right? Because they're each 4,000. 4 times 5 is 20, 20,000, and you would hit the peak of that. So what I actually did is I had cables coming down and going into here and keeping them separate from another cable line going like this. As far as I know, though, these are energy extraction pipes from extra utilities. I don't think they have a limit, so long as the energy can go somewhere and you can get it there quickly. It's actually more based upon how fast you can get from point A, like this part here, to point B, which is this energy transfer node. That's how it works. So what we're doing right now is we're actually taking energy, pulling from the internal capacitors of the solar panels and pumping them here as fast as we can. And we got loads of speed upgrades on here. And that's been working really well for us. In fact, during the day, let's have a sleep. Actually, I don't know if I can. I know the wolf was online. Well, he is, but Morpheus is there. I forgot. Yeah. Okay. So during the day, we will produce power. You know, we'll net a positive amount of power. That's why this is full right now. And I'll have to make a bigger one of those, but they're not auto-crafted yet. What else was I doing? So that's my solar system, and it's been working really, really well for me. I like it. Those are all tier 6 solars from the Solar Flux mod. I set up this farm area here to sort of balance this out, but I actually had a purpose for it, and you would not believe that I set it up and for the life of me have no idea why I did. So, something to think about later as I need that. The energy extraction pipes down there are actually require a QED, so I made one of these guys. And I got a few extras now. But yeah, they do require a QED, so I had to make a bunch of this stuff here. No. We're working our way through here. Compact machine power gen, we still may do eventually. Portal Nexus is kind of done. Solar Flux is kind of done, but we're also doing MFFS still. So that's a lot of the changes. And the only other big changes have been in these compact machines. So this one we've seen. I gotta go through, I gotta label these somehow. But this actually no, we haven't. Sorry, this is a blaze farm I set up. So let's actually just give it a stop. Now I went a little overkill with the like squishing of the blaze farm, and I really have no idea why. I forgot that the blazes will kind of naturally go to the ground. I was kind of worried they would just float up there and my grinders wouldn't be able to get them, but my grinders can get them. So I built this with the resources I had at the time, and I'm not really happy with it, but that is okay. One of the things you'll see though is that we have a lot of essence that I'm not using, of mob essence, so I'm gonna have to start piping that out because all 4 of these grinders are full, I think. I'm not really sure why it wouldn't be full, but it's not. Alright, so what I have up here is I went to the nether and I decided to grab me a bunch of blaze spawners. And I didn't really have a problem doing this for 2 reasons. Usually you kind of got to be careful taking those spawners from a server. Hey, there's only 2 of us on it. And, excuse me. Sorry, emergency mute there for a sneeze. And B, we also have added magical crops to this. And excuse me one more time. No, I'm good. I have decided that here in the labs, we won't, in our InfiniSauce playthrough, we won't be using magical crops except for maybe 1 or 2 things, but I'm not going to use them to generate resources. I'm doing that in Karma, and the Wolf's kind of taking care of that in the labs, in the Broken Labs playthrough, so that is not a big deal. Hold on one. And we're back, sorry about that. And so, yeah, I'm not going to be using a lot of magical crops, because I just don't want to duplicate that footage, and it's kind of cheaty, so I want to find another way to get a lot of resources. So I decided I was actually running low on blaze rods for a couple of reasons. One, tesseracts require blaze powder, which I know you can make with glowstone and is it redstone in a fluid transposer, But you need blaze powder to make the enderium, because you need blaze powder for pyrotheum, right? Which you can make, yes, with, I think it's glowstone with redstone put into it. Yes, so it's glowstone in a fluid transposer with redstone. But I didn't feel like making that crafting, and I don't have that much glowstone anyways. What you can do is you can actually, look at that. Or sorry, so what I decided, and then you also need them for the solar panels. I was using blaze rods to make the solar panels. It's only 3, I think, per tier 6 solar panel, but I was using them. I only had like 20 to begin with. So I decided to get a farm going for blaze rods. At first it was really slow because I was an idiot, and I set up the spawner, and I'm actually going to change how this works a little bit because I don't need these blocks here anymore. I've got a better idea for the redstone signal, but this is a tier 5 blaze spawner. But having these blocks around the outside actually restricted some, because I had blocks all the way around it, and it was every once in a while it would spawn one blaze, because I kind of forgot how these worked. So I went and I took some of these out, and it just like skyrocketed the production. But even with that, it hasn't been going that long. The full production's only been going for a little bit less than a day, and like I did it this morning actually, and it's 8 o'clock in the evening now, and the like partial production was going for like a day and a half. So this is a wireless redstone transmitter from Chicken Bones Wireless Redstone, which is got added to the pack, I think an update ago or so. So these guys will just plug away, and it produces a whole heap ton of blaze rods, and there's tesseracts in behind here for energy and item transfer. So that is that one. And then I got a little bit better with my design. Not a lot, but a little bit better with my design when I made the, nope, wrong one. Spoilers! Sorry guys, I really need to label these, and I know it's not that one. When I made this one. Oh, that's loud. Sorry about that. So there's a couple things about this one that are obviously a little derpy. One, they can actually land on the grinders. So I'm going to put a conveyor belt on the grinders, because I forgot to layer this side with it, and I kind of like just how quickly they spawn in here. So this is a tier 5 Enderman spawner that I got from raiding a crypt from the Gravestone mod, because they have Enderman spawners in there. And I probably could have made about 10 tier 5 soul shards. And so I'm not going to have a problem with ender pearls. I have the ender lily farm, but it's just pretty slow. And I'm thinking about swapping it out for ender cores, just because, why not? No, I want that hat. Oh, I wanted my dinosaur back. Oh well. He's actually a pretty common hat. So this one's running really, really well. This has only been on for about 10 minutes, and I've got a good chunk of ender pearls already. I had 4,000 when it started. It's only been on for about 10 minutes, and now I've got 5,700. I had like 4,200 when it started, so it's just cruising through that production. And blaze rods were at 30,000. So those are my two little farms. And the nice thing about having them in the machines is I don't ever really have to go there. I can even bring the wireless redstone back out here, but there's no lag from it. So it's really good. This one was our tree farm, and I showed you guys that earlier. This bottom one is the blaze, so that means this one is the nexus, which means this one, yes, is a farm. And I said I wasn't going to use magical crops, but I needed to use it for one thing so far. There might be a couple others like this, but it won't be a lot. And that is actually, let me make sure this is working the way it's supposed to. I haven't even really checked on it at all since I set it up, and I didn't have this many to begin with. Wait, what the? That's not good. Oh, sweet, it is. It's kind of bizarre, but it is working. So this is actually an ender crop farm for, let me make sure this is going to push and pull now. Yeah. For earth seeds and water seeds. And let me tell you why I needed that. There's a pretty big bottleneck in the solar panels for, I don't know why I always come down here before I do this. You don't need to be in the bottom. There's a pretty big bottleneck for making solar panels in the fact that I needed clay. So one of these is the tree farm, right? That's what one of these ones is. I think it's this one is tree farm. And then we got the earth and water seed farm, I guess is probably one of the, or the nexus, and then the earth and water seed farm, because I'm using them to make clay. So I have 310 clay right now. Let's look at earth and water. I've got 415 earth essence and 632 water. 2 of each of those in a crafting grade will make 32 clay. So that's a lot of clay, and that's really all I need it for. So that's really good. And the other thing that is bottlenecking my solar panel automation, like I couldn't just say give me 4, for example, because I was always short on clay and sand, believe it or not. Even though I had the system for getting sand where I had an igneous extruder and an igneous extruder, I doubled. I put 2 igneous extruders on. I still just wasn't getting enough sand. So what I've done here is actually pretty crazy. I added the extra augment in here. This was only 2 before. And I've put a tesseract beside it for my cobblegen farm. And I have almost 100,000 sand right now. And you can see that goes up pretty quickly. Beyond that, I have a lot more than that cobblestone. That's insane. And that's what we saw over here. So I went a little crazy with extra utilities because it's wonderful. So this is my extra utilities compact machine. I may use this for other things, but for now, this is all. Oh, these don't need to be here anymore. I do get some lava and some. That was weird. I had to get some lava and some water. So with extra utilities, you can create cobblegens by doing this, right? So as long as you have a world interaction upgrade on top of a piece of cobblestone with lava and water on the other side, you can make a cobblegen. Each world interaction upgrade determines how many it grabs every time it runs. So say it runs once per tick, then once per tick it'll create 10 cobble, because there's 10 world interaction cobble upgrades in here. The stack upgrade make sure it grabs and moves stacks of things at a time. And the speed upgrade increases how quickly it finds out where to send it to. So I've got speed upgrades, stack upgrades, and 10 world interaction upgrades in here, and it just pumps it into a tesseract. No energy required, just none at all. And that is that. And I started using spot loaders because they're better. No, sorry. These are all fairly well placed in a single chunk. So they're just, I don't really need the big chunk loader. I can use a spot loader. All right, and that is that. So that's what I've been doing. I had to upgrade the size of my dimensional bridge stabilizer. I may need to put this on a compact machine eventually, just because it will have to be quite large to sustain more than the portals I already have. And so we're doing pretty good. I'm going to have to change this setup. One thing that people may be very, very happy to know is that in the RV1, so I think we're in RV2 stable, or sorry, we're in an RV1 stable of Applied Energistics, which is why it's not being updated right now, because the next version is Alpha RV2, and then the sub-versions of that. There's 2 things that are happening. One, I don't know if anybody's picked up the development of AE2 since the main modder has left that scene, and which is incredibly sad, because it was just it was kind of community driven why he left. So that is disappointing, but hopefully somebody else kind of keeps this going. I think somebody else is working on it. I don't want to say who because I might be wrong, but if I learn more about that, I'll definitely let you guys know. But in the current versions, which are fairly stable, I use them in Karma of RV2, the inscribers have 3 upgrade slots for upgrade cards, and you can increase their speed with acceleration cards. So I can't wait for that. But regardless, we're going to change this to use AE to automate, so I'm going to get rid of all this stuff, and it won't be as ugly or as ridiculous. And we may even put that in a compact machine, because why not? But if we do, I'm going to see if I can get the channels to go through the compact machine. It's supposed to. It really, really should. I'll look it up to see for sure, but I think it's supposed to. So that is that. I don't really know how we're doing on time. Let me go check. All right, guys, we're back. Got a little music in the background this time. This is actually a jukebox with a fancy disc. I'll show you that in a minute. All right, I did want to show you one. Whoop, I'm super stuck. Okay, there we go. Sorry. It's really loud when I'm right beside it, but if it's too loud for the end of this video, at least just the end of this video. And Seems to be causing a bit of lag. That's weird. Anyways, I was going to show you one more thing. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, so I'm surprised nobody's commented on this yet, and I've kind of known this for a while. I just haven't had the gumption to change it. And lately in Karma, I've been doing a lot of AE changes. And I tested something new that worked so well. I kind of need to do it here. I just don't want to. But one thing that works, I want to kind of reverse these. So instead of having a bunch of interfaces around a molecular assembler, I want to have an interface with molecular assemblers running outside of it. And to varying degrees. I'll have a couple of like clouds like this that'll make the things that are made really commonly in large quantities. Like storage clusters and things like that for our storage cells for 64K storage drives. But this is like the slowest way to craft in the world. So I'm going to have to work on changing this whole section here, this whole corner, to be my Super AE, Super Crafting, Superness. That's the new name. Super AE, Super Crafting, Superness. And that's probably not going to stick. Anyways, because this is like the slowest way in the world to craft something. My auto crafting works pretty well, as far as having 2 molecular assemblers could possibly work. So we're going to fix that up at some point as well, but don't do this. It's actually, at first, it's a good way of conserving resources, not have to make a bunch of molecular assemblers. They're not that expensive though. So they're really not that bad, especially once you have auto crafting online. So I highly recommend you don't do this, but that's something that we're going to have to work on in the future. All right, I'm done with this. Let's try the other one. Beat the dragon. So that's something I'm going to have to do. Let me show you the quarry right quick here. I know the episode was actually pretty long, even when I got to this point. And I want to start MFFS next episode. So let me... I'm going to fly on over here. I do have to tell you guys, I'm pretty disappointed with the update of Blood Magic. It brought some cool rituals and stuff, which, yes, they were broken, but they're already fixed, and there's a couple of hot fixes for them, and we just haven't updated yet. I'm disappointed in Blood Magic in the sense that the first time I've ever made the bound armor, they dumbed it down a lot. They nerfed it a lot. It's not near as powerful as it used to be. It's still really, really strong. Like, you're pretty safe to go do whatever you want, but oh my goodness, you better kill things quick. Anyways, so this is what I've been doing. This is my quarry right now, and it's actually set up really, really simply. I have a tesseract that sends energy or receives items and sends energy to it. At this current juncture, it's off for some reason. I turned it off. If I turn it on, it will actually it'll absorb power pretty horribly. It does tend to destroy and just decimate the power that goes into it. And that's only with, I had the speed 3 upgrade on there. Now we have the speed 2. So what we got is World Hole, Silk Touch, and speed 2. Speed 3, I was doing a bit of research because it was just chewing through so much power I could never keep up. Speed 3 is a little insane. It actually, the power that these require is based upon the hardness of a block. So in Minecraft, there's different, when you're creating mods and blocks, you give them hardness levels. So dirt is fairly weak, right? Cobble's a little bit harder. Or stone is, sorry. And obsidian, that's, boy, I don't even want to go into that. Bedrock is the hardest. Obviously, it doesn't break. So you give blocks properties of hardness and kind of like coefficients of how hard something is to break. The energy that's required to break stuff depends upon how hard it is, besides the fact of just normal energy multipliers. So having a tier 3 upgrade is pretty intense. I think what I want to do is actually set this to high. Again, turn it off, and then I can toggle it. I'll set up a wireless redstone signal to toggle it on and on. I'm fairly certain it works across dimensions. I'm just beginning to question that now because I don't remember anymore. I feel like that was actually a thing that it didn't do. Whoops, this way. And over top of my portal is my auto crafting of purities. Alright guys, so that's unfortunately going to be it. That's another base tour update episode. I don't like watching these when other people do them. I'm sure you guys don't. But I've been doing a lot of work, and I wanted to kind of bring you guys in and show you what was going on. Even though it's just a lot of little stuff and no like big projects or anything like that, it has been stuff that I wanted to kind of show off a little bit. So until next time though, I have been Towsty, and this is the end of our episode today. So hang up your lab coats on the way out and let me know what you thought with a like or a thumb or a comment or a subscribe or anything like that. Really happy with how well the channel's been supported over the last month and a half or so that it's been out there, and really looking forward to seeing where it goes. Alright guys, until next time though, have a good day, and join me again in a couple days. Deuces!